said to our fathers. You might know what the name of Mary's song is, or at least what we know as Mary's song. What's it called? The Magnificat, right? You've heard that one before? Maybe that's the high church folks. But actually around the world, this is one of the more famous songs. You can type it into your Google and hear all kinds of symphonies. But it's from a Latin word, the Magnificat. I think we can get this one. The word Magnificat would mean what, would you guess? Magnificent. In fact, if you read this in another translation, the word that it starts with there, and her song begins in verse 46, and in my translation it says, "My soul glorifies the Lord." The actual Latin, which I think is probably somewhat like the Greek on occasions, though I'm not a linguist, but oftentimes it starts with the most powerful word in the sentence. So in the Latin, this starts with Magnificat, like magnificent. Is what my soul screams out magnificent when I think of Jesus. In essence, is what this says. And so Mary wrote this song. And actually there's going to be other songs. You know, maybe we could have done a three-part series if I'd thought of it soon enough. But you got Zechariah's song, you got Elizabeth's song. You got all kinds of people singing around Christmas their songs because God has done amazing things. And so I want us to just, we'll see how much time we have, but I think I got about 3 points I want to show you here about this song that really inspired me as I studied it today, and hopefully it'll inspire you as well. And the first thing that I got from Mary's song is that everyone's soul magnifies something. Right? Isn't that just kind of a cool way she starts off? My soul magnifies the Lord. You know, and I thought as I just even read that and thought about the Magnificat, but what is it that your soul magnifies? Everybody's life magnifies something. I mean, you go up to some people and you talk to them for 30 minutes and you walk away and you kind of walk away with a feel for what's magnified in their life, right? Yeah. And it's based on what the conversation is, right? And you kind of have certain people that you honestly kind of pigeonhole. I know if I talk to that guy, we're going to talk about what? Sports. There you go. Yeah. Oh, he's the Jets fan or the Patriots fan, and this is football day, so I know if I see him, that's what we're going to talk about for 15 or 20 minutes, you know. And you don't say it, and maybe you don't even think about it yourself, but that person magnifies sports. You know, that's what they magnify. Or, wow, when I talk to her, it's going to be all about the job and the career and how the finances are working, and that's just kind of what you're consumed with. And so maybe you're not trying to, but our soul magnifies something. I mean, I even stumbled across that word I don't mention, but hypochondriac, right? What's a hypochondriac? They're focused on all their health issues, right? Their soul magnifies the health challenges or issues, and they just kind of can't get their mind off of that. And that can be certainly other things like alcohol or sex, and there are all kinds of addictions, but everybody magnifies something in your conversation, in your life, and what's so cool is to see that here we have a girl. In fact, let me try, do we have any 15-year-old girls in our audience? We won't make you sing or stand on your head or anything, but if we have anyone who's 15, that's a female, stand up for me for a second. All right, we missed it with 15. Oh, there we go. All right. Oh, we got a couple. Okay. Now here's kind of the blow-away part. Okay, no singing, no dancing. You're going to be fine. Just stand. All right. Here's the blow-away part. Most people think that Mary, who's going to be impregnated by the Holy Spirit, was probably about 15 years of age. And so think of the cute, sweet, wonderful. But I mean, you know, you don't really think the movement of the world is going to. I mean, but just think. First of all, it shows me how important our teen ministry is. Amen. Okay? But here, I mean, basically, Mary would have been hanging out with angels having these conversations at about 15 years of age. I mean, that's kind of blow away. Thank you. You guys can sit down. Way to be 15. Go get it. All right? Change the world. But can you imagine the first person to get it about Jesus was a 15-year-old girl? It wasn't an evangelist, it wasn't an apostle, it wasn't, you know, some old guy who was really fired up about God his whole life. God sent an angel to an approximately 15-year-old girl, and they had a little conversation. And one of the things that's somewhat humorous to me is every time an angel walks into the scene, he always starts with like the same phrase, it seems like to me. And what's that phrase? Do not be afraid, you know. Why is that? You know, I mean, I've always kind of wanted to be the other person to say, dude, you're an angel, you're glowing, I can be afraid if I want to. You know, that's kind of what you do when you hang out. But anyway, they always start with, don't be afraid, and of course, that doesn't usually help. But, you know, then here's what the angel said. The angel told the 15-year-old girl, you will get pregnant and give birth to the Son of God. And what was her one question that she asked? Did you notice in the reading? How's that going to happen? I mean, even at 15 she knew, this one doesn't seem to work out with the math, you know, and the few things that we learned in our sexual education course. And how is this going to happen? I'm going to give birth to the Son of God? And the angel says, yeah, it's going to be a virgin birth. It's all going to be fine. And she's like, okay, you know. I mean, it's kind of this amazing conversation. And then the angel tells her, nothing is impossible with God. And one of the things that's really cool for me in this study, I want to show you a few different times, but what got caught up in Mary's heart as that 15-year-old girl, she's going to later, of course, give birth, and she's going to raise the Son of God, but you start seeing all these parallels of what Jesus' mom got and understood, she handed on to her son. Because here she's hanging out with an angel, and the angel says nothing's impossible for God. We don't have time to look at all these, but later on in, let me find my place, Matthew 19:26, guess what Jesus is going to say? Nothing is impossible with God. We're going to see all these parallels to the convictions that his mom gained and probably passed on to Jesus through the years, telling him her story and her song. Jesus is later going to repeat the very kinds of things that his mom shared with him. But you know, here's the point I want to make sure we get, is this isn't even just a story about Mary and about Jesus, but really the point is, what's the whole point that the authors wrote this down? So we get the same spirit and heart, right? Oh, great job, Mary. Way to say nothing's impossible with God. Oh, good, Jesus. You kind of expect the Son of God to say nothing's impossible with God. But the reason he wrote it is so that we would sing the same song. Nothing's impossible with God. Is that we get the same faith, we get the same burning in our bones, we get the same excitement. Wow, the Holy Spirit actually can overshadow my life too. And miracles and amazing things could happen that influence generations that would never happen